because we reveal the steroid stack of Chris Bumstead, the undisputed men's physique Mr. Olympia. But what does CBUM actually take?
What is up, everybody? So I'm going to be doing this little series. I thought it would be fun to do. I found this Snapchat account that you can subscribe to, where pretty much this guy is just going over making these videos on all these different celebrities and bodybuilders and all these different things and talking about steroids. And I started watching him and I was like, man, some of these are kind of outlandish. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna start kind of deciphering and picking through what they're claiming about these. And so you guys can go through it with me. So the first one we have up is none other than Chris Bumstead. Apparently, they figured out his cycle and they were gonna reveal it to us so we can know exactly what Chris Bumstead is taking to achieve his physique. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video.
Because we reveal the steroid stack of Chris Bumstead, the undisputed men's physique Mr. Olympia.
Right out the gate, I'm gonna say it. This is going to be complete bullshit because, well, they can't even get the class or the division that he competes in correct. If you can't get the class or division that he competes in, it's classic physique, it's not men's physique, then how are you gonna get his whole steroid stack, the compounds, the dosages correct? You can't. I can already know that this is clickbait 100%, but for the sake of it, let's go ahead and run through it.
But what does CBUM actually take? First things first, Chris Bumstead is very open about his steroid use. Makes sense. After all, anyone who wants to even remotely compete in a Mr. Olympia contest simply has to be on steroids, and everyone who knows anything about professional bodybuilding knows that.
First off, Christopher Bumstead is not super open about his steroid use. He has claimed a couple times that I've only found like once or twice on video that he is not natural, but he keeps everything really under wraps. Like he does not promote it out there. He doesn't push it. He doesn't tell people that very much unless he's asked directly if he's on steroids. And so second, yeah, I would agree that if you are gonna go to Olympia and actually compete, then you do have to take gear because there are a couple guys that go there naturally by doing natural IFBB shows or competitions and they win and they go there, but they're always placing dead last. So if you actually want to go to Olympia and compete, yeah, you got to be on gear.
By the way, CBUM himself says that he tries to get the most out of the lowest possible doses of steroids, simply trying to keep the side effects at bay, the likelihood and intensity of which naturally increase with higher doses.
As anyone who's taking gear should, you should always try and get the most out of the least possible dosages and then go up from there.
Right after Mr. Olympia, Chris Bumstead is taking a break from the gym and going on holiday. He does this every year to give himself some rest.
That is the biggest load of crap I've ever heard in my entire life. There's no way that CBUM or anyone like this comes off cold turkey right after a competition. That is not you. That is how you royally mess yourself up. Sometimes you can drop the TRT, or you can then go into a growing phase because that's the most optimal time to grow. But you don't just come off completely. That's unless if your coach, if anyone is listening to this, never do that. Unless if your coach says that, do not do it. I'm telling you, do not do it.
When he starts training again, he begins with 200 milligrams of testosterone a week.
I would say one thing, I do not believe that he is going in his off season to 200 milligrams, but I will say that CBUM is pretty much in perfect condition. He just needs to make small minor adjustments. So I do not think he's taking the level of gear that people think he's actually taking. Because he doesn't really need to at this point. He's already made it to this point, but I do not believe it's 200.
Chris Bumstead is already in perfect shape and therefore has no need to get any bigger. After all, the men's physique class is primarily about aesthetics and not about who is the most massive bodybuilder as in the men's open class. So CBUM can keep most of his muscles in the off season with this rather small dose. By the way, he has a blood test 4 times a year to make sure that all the values are okay.
Everyone should be doing their blood work. If you are taking gear, you can afford your blood work. If you can't afford your blood work, you can't afford gear because I guarantee you haven't tried fixing either any medical issues you have or side effects. Have you ever paid for a dermatologist and Accutane because you messed yourself up and you developed acne? It is expensive, all right? Crazy high blood pressure, acne, gyno. Have you ever got gyno surgery? I just got gyno surgery. Was thousands of dollars. And I ran gear the correct, essentially. There's no real safe way. The safest and most correct possible way I probably could have ran it with the lowest possible dosages, and I still over time developed it. And have you ever done that? If you can afford the new drop from Young LA and you can afford some new Jordan 1s, you can afford your blood work. You need to make your priorities straight.
After the first blood test a year, he increases his testosterone dose to 500 milligrams a week, and that's what he sticks to in the off season, reaching a weight of about 265 pounds at a height of about 6'1".
That's the one believable thing I could see. I could see CBUM going to like 500 milligrams of test in his offseason. I could also see him going more, but I do think that because of where CBUM's at, he could, get away with 500 milligrams of test. I know a lot of pros and Olympians and people that have gone extremely far on the pro level, and they're not that high of a dosage. I also know people who are crazy high in dosages because everyone responds differently. But I could see CBUM with where he's at sticking in his offseason around 500.
Once the competition season starts, CBUM of course takes some other steroids as well. What exactly is not known because he purposely does not go into details, so that as many young fans do not simply copy his plans and possibly damage their health that way. However, we think that in the competition season, CBUM increases the 500 milligrams testosterone to about 1,000 milligrams a week, and also takes 500 milligrams trenbolone weekly and 100 milligrams Anavar daily.
1,000 milligrams, so a gram of test, 500 tren, 100 Anavar. I don't believe that because I don't think Chris needs 1,000 milligrams. And on top of that, I mean, you never know. I could be so wrong here. You never know. But Chris obviously is a hyper responder. Look at the dude and has extremely insane genetics, the best in the world. So I don't think he needs 1,000 milligrams of testosterone considering where he's already at. 500 tren, I don't believe either because you can actually get so much out of 200 to 300 trenase. And so with that, after that, personally for me, I see side effects from between 200 and 300. I see the same between 300 and 500. Yeah, I see all the same. I just get some more side effects after that. You can get a ton out of low dose of tren. And Chris has those kidney issues, which he's talked about in the past. So because of how toxic it is, I don't think he'd be able to run that much tren. And the 100 milligrams of Anavar, I could see it. I mean, that one's believable. Between probably 50 and 100 is probably what he runs if he takes VAR.
Additionally, we also estimate that he takes growth hormones, insulin, some SARMs, and a few other performance-enhancing substances.
Growth hormone, insulin, insulin, SARMs, SARMs, and other compounds. So they don't know the other compounds. They're just throwing out their other compounds. Then they say SARMs. Who the fuck thinks that Chris Bumstead is taking SARMs? What? Dude, like the dude who wrote this article, who composed this, needs to go back to the drawing board. He's not taking SARMs. And then he says growth hormone and SLIN. I can see Chris using GH or SLIN. I don't think he really needs it in his growing phases anymore because obviously he wouldn't even make weight. So I don't think he uses it in his growing season. I think he might take GH more so for like the benefit of, recovery, burning body fat, staying healthy, sleep, things like that, his skin as well. But the insulin, I could see maybe during his peak week, during his prep, like he's using it to carb up like prior to his show. I don't think he does growth and SLIN cycles anymore, to be honest. Yeah, that's just, no.
Chris Bumstead knows that steroids are not healthy, but he accepts the possible side effects in order to be the best of the best. And he only is because, in addition to his steroid use, he simply has extremely good genetics and an enormous amount of discipline.
We all accept the side effects or the potential health medical risks to be the best of the best versions of ourselves because we are addicted to this shit and we want to be massive. We want to be big. We want to be alpha. We want to be sigma, whatever the fuck you want to say. We want to be there. Everyone accepts that. It's common sense. If you don't accept it, then you're...
So train hard, eat healthy, try everything you can to reach your natural limit, and only use steroids, if at all, when you are at a level where you can simply only progress with performance-enhancing substances. And even then, steroids are usually not a good idea unless you are making massive amounts of money with professional bodybuilding.
He does make a good point. I would definitely say try and reach your, as quickly as you can, try and reach your maximum potential, natty limit and then hop on. But at the end of the day, the decision is everyone else's when they want to hop on. There's no right or wrong time to hop on. Well, I think there is a wrong time to hop on. But the decision at the end of the day is up to you guys. If you want to hop on at 21, hop on at 21. If you want to hop on 25, hop on at 25.
Because in the end, your health is the most important thing in your life, and you can also achieve an extremely massive and attractive body in a natural way.
The one thing I heard that's true in that whole thing is that your health is the most important thing in your life. Whoever wrote this, complete BS, go back to the drawing board, do your research. That was the worst. Anyways, if you guys want to support me, code Marcus, Young LA, Rise Subs. I love you all, appreciate it. Go ahead and subscribe to the video, like, comment, let me know your thoughts. I'm gonna be making this a series, so there's gonna be more videos like this up on some more like celebrities, things like that. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, bits of wisdom for me. But yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one.